Hello everyone, Vegas Vic 1965, and in this week's video, we're looking at tips on villagers, how to move them around, breeding, a number of different things. I'll probably do several of these so it doesn't drag on too long, but I know there's been a number of people, if you have played with me or if you have seen some of my things, you'll notice that I really enjoy working with villagers. A lot of people struggle with that, but I can pretty much get these guys to do what I want them to do, which is, I know, very strange. They're very, very difficult. But I've been working with them for quite a while, so I'm going to share some of the tips that I've used over the years to work with these villagers. So without further ado, let's find out. Okay, tip number one is a simple one. Say, for example, you want to either populate a larger iron farm or a village, or you wanted to populate a trading hall like I'm doing here. I don't spend all my time trying to bring a bunch of villagers to that area. I no longer do breeders. I haven't done breeders probably since 1.13. I find them completely unnecessary, and you have this bulky looking thing just taking up space in your area. I just don't use them anymore. I'll take two villagers to the area that I want. As you can see here, I have a villager dormitory there, over here, and also here, and I still have a few scattered out around. Now, this village, I did come in, so-called took it over, but really I came to make sure that these guys were safe. So I'll bring two to where I need them, and then I will start breeding them from there. And for every time you want to get a new villager, you'll need one more bed than you have villagers. So if you have two villagers and you would like three, you need to set down 3 beds. Now, pathfinding is extremely important when it comes to these. You definitely need to make sure that these guys can pathfind to the bed. And more importantly is they will not breed if there's anything above that bed. They must have 2 spaces of air above that. And the reason for that is the devs created this little thing, which is really cute. These guys bounce on the beds. If they cannot bounce on the beds, then these guys will not have little ones when you throw bread at them. So if you're having trouble breeding and you have a bed and you've got a block above it, that's probably the reason. They are not going to breed if they cannot have 2 air spaces above that. And again, just to reiterate, you need one more bed than you have villagers if you want more. If you want 10 villagers and you only have 2, set down 10 beds, start throwing start throwing bread or carrots if you want to use carrots or potatoes. I use bread because it takes up less space. Okay, this is tip number 2. And as you can see here, I've got a villager trading hall, and I've got a bunch of masons. And we had 4 of them that had lots of duplicates with my other one, and I needed to breed more. So what I do is I let some of the stalls open, and I just opened them up, gave them the bread they needed to breed, and let them move about. Now the thing is here, it looks like chaos. They're all over the place. But in a few minutes, you're going to see how I can move these guys to where I need them. And of course, in this case, with this many, I'm going to be using beds, and we need the nighttime. Okay, so I've removed the excess beds, and everybody has their own bed. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these beds, and I'm going to pop them into a new stall that I have recently vacated and sent the villager back where they came from, the factory. We're going to come over here. We'll break this bed for this little guy. He will spot this new bed, pop the fence in there, and now we have that little guy taken care of. And just repeat the process. Like I have one over here, we could move them as well. And that is pretty much a simple way to move villagers around to where you need them. Nighttime is your best friend when it comes to something like a trading hall where you have a lot of them that you need to either breed to fill in some spaces or you need to move them. Beds. Okay, now as you've seen, I've already populated. I've got 4 that I need to fill in the empty spaces. Where you see I have the mason blocks, I already have villagers planned out for that. Now, as I said earlier, there's chaos, right? They're all over the place. It is nighttime. As you can see by my clock, it's just dark 30 hours. So What I need to do now is find out, I need to move these guys into their right spot to make it easier on me so there's not chaos in the morning. And how we're going to do that is I'm going to break this guy's bed. I've got one ready in my hotbar. I'll break his bed. Let's see what he's got. He has the gray terracotta and the pink glazed terracotta, and he is over here. So what I'm going to do is drop a bed down there. He should pick up on that bed. It is quite the distance, but within 16 blocks, he'll find that bed, come over here, plop into it, and that's how we're going to get these guys moved back into their correct spots, so it's not a whole lot of confusion anymore. Tip number 3. When you have something like this in a trading hall, for example, we're going to use the trading hall as another good example, and you're looking at populating an area. I usually bring in 2, but the number of villagers that you need, let's say, for example, we have 8 villagers, but we need 2 more. Then you need to set down 10 beds, and you can throw some bread or carrots or potatoes. I always use bread, and they will breed to the number of beds that are available. Now, if you notice in here, we have, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 beds here, and I have 8 villagers running around. So I'm going to get 2 more villagers. As long as they have the food, they'll go ahead and breed. Now, you're saying to yourself, well, there's more villagers. There's 2 over here. Those will not be included. And the reason for that is because these 2 cannot pathfind to those beds. So those beds are now available. Okay, for the next tip, we're going to look at villager trading. Now, normally we used to do these between the hours of, I would say, 8 a.m. and 3 p.m., or for your Java players, 2,000 ticks to 9,000 ticks. Now, that has since changed for the Java version. I need to run over and take a look at the Bedrock version, but as you can see here, it is late. Oh, there's a witch over there. Don't mind my zombie friend here. I use him for zombie villager conversions. But as you can see, it is nighttime. There's the moon right there. So let's go in and I'll show you the next tip. And this is going on since 1.16.1. It may be 1.16, the update. This may or may not be a bug that the devs may fix in the future. But as of right now, the tip I can give you on this is that you can cycle through these guys at any time of the day, and we're going to show you that right here. First thing I need to do is set this up. Oh, and he got that one. That's one thing you need to worry about. We'll come back to him. If I can get him in there. There we go. We'll set down their workstations, and you can see they do change into their professions. You saw the green lights, so that's good news. The next thing, I have a number of emeralds in here. We'll trade with them. So you can see, once again, it is nighttime out. Like I said, normally you would not be able to do this on the Java version, the older versions from 1.15 and earlier. But we are going to cycle through him. So that's the next tip that I can give you, is that you can cycle through these guys for their professions. And we're currently working on masons, which will bring up the next tip for you folks that are trying to maintain popularity. Popularity is actually going to be something on a separate little tip that I give out on another video. But anyway, you can see here, we've moved on to the next one. Now you can go through and choose, excuse me, whatever you want to trade, because this could be farmer villagers, it could be your librarians. But just to let you know, it is nighttime, and I'm in 1.16.3 at the moment, and it's been going on since 1.16.1 that you can cycle through these villagers. The next tip involves popularity. Popularity is very important, because if your popularity gets to below, let's say, minus 15, then when you go into that village, any naturally spawned iron golems are going to attack you, and the villagers are not going to be very happy. And the only way to improve that, your popularity, is going to be through a number of things that I'm going to go over with in the next video, which will include popularity in more detail. But in the interim, we don't want to just outright kill these villagers. Even when you hit them, you lose popularity. So how do we get something like this? For example, I've got these 2 patterns, a number of them already, for the blue glazed and the light gray. And I also have plenty of orange terracotta and pink glazed terracotta. So these are two villagers that I really don't need. I need to replace them with villagers that I would like to have. Sometimes cycling through them, you don't always get what you want. And how do you dispose, or what I like to refer to as sending the villagers back to the factory so you can get new ones without ruining your popularity and keeping those trades in the prices for those trades at a very good rate. And for what I do, I will set down, let me get myself up, I'm missing something here. I will send them back to the factory on a minecart, and I'll show you how. First thing I'll do is I'll set up something here. You don't have to have your trading hall exactly the way I do, but I have it set up like this, and what I will do is I'll pop one underneath here, and if there was an iron golem here, he would not be upset with me because I'm not doing anything to him. He's taking the ride back to the factory, so to speak, by himself. So you lose no popularity when you send them back that way. There are a number of ways that you could actually do that so your popularity doesn't go down, but you definitely do not want to hit them. Now, what happens if you do hit the villager? Well, like I said, I'll go over in more detail in the next episode, next episode that I do on popularity, village popularity. But in the interim, until you watch that video, trading, also getting hero of the village, breeding. There are a number of ways, and like I said, I'll go over more of that in detail in the popularity video for villagers. Well, I hope you found the information I gave you here useful in your Minecraft worlds for these tips and tricks, my little tips and tricks for handling and working with villagers. Again, this episode included some breeding tips and tricks, also sending some back to the factory, and cycling, and I'll do some more in this villager series to help you along with your Minecraft villagers, because I know for some folks the villagers can be extremely difficult to work with. Hopefully these tips will make it a lot easier for you. If you like this video, click the like button. If you would like to subscribe for future videos, click that subscribe button. I make videos every Wednesday and usually have them edited and out by 5 a.m. Thursday morning. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video next week.